National autonomy for state legislature and the judiciary takes effect as President Buhari signs Executive Order Number 10. Nigeria's first family to observe Eid-el-Fitr at home as correspondent examines different strokes for different folks in the celebration of 2020 Eid-el-Fitr. Nigeria's electoral umpire releases guidelines for Edo and Ondo governorship election amid COVID-19 pandemic. Plus, border closure enforcement. Governor El-Rufai apprehends violators of interstate travel ban. It's another beautiful rainy Friday evening here in Abuja, and you're welcome to NTA Network News on the NTA. We are live in Abuja. I am Jumbo Yusuf. I hope you're keeping safe and keeping yourself safe from everything as we celebrate Salah in the next couple of hours. May our prayers see us through these trying times. Tonight, Hingino John Adams will be reading with me from Lagos. Thanks for joining us. We'll begin with President Muhammadu Buhari has today signed into law Executive Order Number 10 of 2020 for the implementation of financial autonomy of state legislature and state judiciary order 2020. This is contained in a statement issued by Dr. Umar Jibril Gwandu, Special Assistant on Media and Public Relations, Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. Gufan Shaji has details.
With the signing of the executive order, the implementation of financial autonomy of the state legislature and state judiciary will strengthen the institutions at the state level and make them more independent and accountable in line with the tenets of democracy. The order provides that the Accountant General of the Federation shall authorize the deduction from source in the course of Federation accounts allocation from the money allocated to any state of the Federation that fails to release allocation meant for the state legislature and state judiciary in line with the financial autonomy guaranteed by Section 121, subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. Article 6, subsection 1 provides that, notwithstanding the provisions of this executive order, in the first 3 years of its implementation, there shall be special extraordinary capital allocations for the judiciary to undertake capital development of state judiciary complexes, high court complexes, Sharia Court of Appeal, customary Court of Appeal, and court complexes of other courts befitting the status of courts. The President signed the Executive Order Number 10 into law based on the power vested in him under Section 5 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar declared Sunday 24th of May as first day of Shawwal and Eid-el-Fitr Day. Let's now join Sheikh Muhammad Datti, who is at the palace of the Sultan, for more details.
All right, thank you, Jume. Yeah, I'm in the Central Palace here in Sokoto. By my left is the banquet hall where the Religious Committee Affairs on Religious Affairs do sit to receive reports from various moon sighting committees across the country. As the journalists and members of the public waits for the pronouncement of the sighting of the new moon by the Sultan, the statement was issued that non-sighting of the moon from all moon sighting committees across the country. And with this development, the Sultan declared Sunday, 24th of this month, as the Eid-el-Fitr Day, and fasting continues tomorrow. With this, he equally admonished people of Nigeria to be prayerful for the nation and peace to reign in the country, especially the end of COVID-19 in the country. And the Sultan wished all Nigerians a very happy Eid-el-Fitr celebration.
Okay, thank you so much, Shehu Muhammad Datti, and we also wish him a happy Eid-el-Fitr celebration. Now, with Eid-el-Fitr celebration just around the corner and the Ramadan fast coming to an end, President Muhammadu Buhari will be conducting his Eid prayers with his family at home in Abuja. In a statement, Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, says this is an observance of the lockdown measures in the Federal Capital Territory put in place to save lives and protect people against coronavirus. This is also in line with the directive of the Sultan of Sokoto and President General of the Jamaatul Nasir Islam, Alhaji Saad Abubakar III, suspending Eid congregational prayers across the country, as well as a protocol against mass gathering issued by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. Further to this, the President, who has traditionally shared the joyous moment with top government officials, political leaders, community heads, Muslim and religious leaders and children, will not be receiving these homages in a bid to stop the coronavirus from further spreading. This year's Ramadan has been characterized with many differences of no feasting in group and no voluntary congregational prayers, called Taraweeh. Despite all of that, in a few hours, it is certain Eid-el-Fitr will be here, but there is an uncertainty about how to celebrate it. Musbaud and Wahab tells us more.
The search for a new crescent has begun, and so too is the last-minute shopping for the end of a month-long Ramadan fast, Eid-el-Fitr. But Salisu Yusuf is uncertain with preparation for any celebration.
I don't know what you go do because this COVID-19, it don't spoil everything.
Elsewhere, little Muklis Olajire, sizing his new dress, is anxiously waiting for the usual flocking to prayer ground on Salah Day. At least, he had seen a few of such in the past.
Do you like it? Yes. Daddy, are we going for Salah dinner? No, we are not going for Salah dinner. You know there will be no Eid this year, right?
Alas, it is going to be a different mode of Salah celebration this year. That their father has been pressing home to their consciousness.
When they brought their new clothes and everything, they were like, inshallah, we'll be going for it. And the moment I just mentioned the word coronavirus, oh, Daddy will not be going to any gathering.
Coronavirus is novel to this generation, but such pandemic is not new in Islam. And in the series of a new normal, with exception of some northern states whose governors have issued a contrary directive, Muslims in Nigeria, like in many other countries across the world, will have a new experience.
Everybody will pray their Salah, their 2 rakah prayers in their homes with their family. The Muslims should know that this thing that is happening to us, we are not the only one. This is our own turn to share from the world pandemic challenge which the entire world is facing.
Because there is coronavirus.
It is an incredible reality that Muklis and his older sister, Makfusa, are now very much aware of. But they can only hope for a better future soonest.
I pray that the coronavirus should go maybe like before next month.
In Abuja, Musbao and Wahab, NC News.
Meanwhile, this year's Ramadan has been challenging for the Muslim Ummah, especially with the lockdown and the ban on religious gatherings to contain community transmission of COVID-19. As Muslims in Oshun join their counterparts across the country to celebrate this year's Eid-el-Fitr come Sunday, correspondent Tope Alabi in this report takes a look at how the people will be celebrating Salah and the differences in the mode of celebration.
A few weeks ago, Governor Gboyega Oyetola gave a relaxation order on the lockdown from Monday to Thursday between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. and total lockdown between Friday and Sunday to contain the spread of coronavirus in the state. From the look of things, it is not likely that the current lockdown as a result of COVID-19 pandemic by government will be relaxed on or before Eid Day.
I, as a person, I will have to celebrate it with my family by observing 2 rakah.
We have to stay indoor and celebrate it as Allah wish.
Consequently, most Eid praying grounds will be deserted and observance of Eid prayers in congregation just like Jumat services will not be possible.
Going to Eid is nawafil, it is supererogatory. It is not as if it is obligatory. So, which means if we don't go to Eid, there is no harm about that.
Zakat al-Fitr is an age-long tradition observed at the end of every Ramadan fast. With the current situation, how handy will it come this time?
The imam of a particular society or particular community will collect, will gather all this Zakat al-Fitr and he will distribute it accordingly with the fear of Allah to the less privileged in his mosque.
This praying ground, like many others across the state, will not be put to use during this Salah. But clerics say after giving out Zakat al-Fitr, it is not forbidden for an individual or families to converge in their homes and observe the 2 rakat prayers for Eid, excluding khutbah or sermon. In Osogbo, Tokpe Alabi, NTA News.
Although restrictions on movement and trade have been eased, Muslims preparing to celebrate Eid-el-Fitr festival are expected to apply caution in order not to roll back the almost 2 months gain of proactive actions taken by the government in the fight against COVID-19. Mohammed Adebowale examines the celebration in Abeokuta.
Eid-el-Fitr is the Muslims' festival marking the end of Ramadan fast. It is celebrated annually in many countries of the world, Nigeria inclusive, but the coronavirus pandemic has changed the setting this year. No worship center is expected to congregate. Prayers are advised to be done in homes.
Islam enjoins us to be law-abiding and to follow the order of our constituted authority.
Islamic scholar speaks on the COVID-19 impact on the 2 rakat prayer, where Muslims converged at various Eid grounds to offer supplications to God for the successful completion of Ramadan fast.
The same way you have prayed throughout Ramadan, the same way you have done throughout, night of Ramadan, 2 rakat nawafil.
Was there any alternative to congregational prayers in Islamic parlance, as some believe that without the Eid prayer, their fast might not be accepted by God?
It is painful to stay away from the mosque. It is because Allah enjoins us to obey Him, His Prophet, and the people in the authority.
Another compulsory but symbolic rite in Eid-el-Fitr celebration is Zakat al-Fitr. How handy will it come this year, bearing in mind the current economic reality occasioned by the pandemic as it affects every individual? Clerics urge Nigerians, regardless of faith, to pray for God's mercy and intervention to rid the nation of COVID-19. In Abeokuta, Mohammed Adebowale, NTA News.
Back here in Abuja, the FCT administration hereby informs residents of the FCT, especially Muslim faithful, that following the statement by the Jamaatul Nasr Islam JNI under the leadership of His Eminence the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, regarding the suspension of the Eid congregational prayers in towns and cities across the Federation. This says Eid-el-Fitr prayers will not hold on Eid grounds across the FCT. The statement equally urged Muslims to observe the Eid-el-Fitr prayers at home with family members or alone in the case of an individual living alone. This is in tandem with the guidelines issued by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 that all places of worship in the FCT and other high-risk states of the Federation should remain closed during the recently extended period of lockdown. In order to achieve this objective of enforcing these guidelines, meetings were held earlier between the administration and leaders of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and the League of FCT Imams. The FCT administration therefore calls for support and understanding of all residents as efforts are being made to curtail and eventually end the spread of the COVID-19 in the territory. Muslim faithful across Kano State this Friday observed Jumat prayer following the ease of 2 months lockdown to curb the spread of coronavirus pandemic. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that worshippers adhered to the COVID-19 safety protocols and other conditions mandated by the state government.
For the last few months, Jumat mosques in Kano were under lock and key, one of the measures to stem the spread of coronavirus pandemic. These experts say have significantly assisted in reducing the rising cases of COVID-19 community transmission and various efforts of both federal and state government. However, The decision by Kano State government to allow prayers to hold in Jumat mosques may not be unconnected with calls from different quarters.
The state and the country and to save us from this infectious disease.
Most of the Jumat mosques visited by NTA News in the metropolis observed the condition given by the state government, which include using of face masks, hand sanitizer before entering and physical distancing.
Authorities have said on face masks and washing of the hands and trying to observe distancing in the mosque. We try to do that as much as possible, and the congregation is dispersed. We are not going to remain. Nobody is going to remain inside the mosque, all in an effort to keep safe and stay safe.
The opening of Jumat mosques in Kano, Imam Bashir says, will rekindle spirits of worshippers and pray for Allah's intervention against COVID-19. Muhammad Rabi Ali, NTA News.
And to ensure security of lives on our roads during the festive period, Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Boboye Oyeyemi has approved massive deployment of personnel nationwide in order to curb the spread of COVID-19 through vehicular movements as Muslim faithful celebrate Eid-el-Fitr. Oyeyemi Ajayi reports that the Corps Marshal emphasized the need for collaboration with other security agencies and COVID-19 task force teams for better level of compliance with the presidential directive on COVID-19.
This is now the regular activities in the Jabi Park. The people here now play, chat, listen to the radio, a new way of spending time as the minutes tick away. In the previous years, this park, like others in the FCT, were busy with vehicular activities during Eid-el-Fitr celebrations as passengers traveled to other parts of the country. But this year, however, no activities of such were noticed, as the few vehicles parked seem to have accumulated layers of dust.
No any activities have been here for getting to 2 months.
Nobody is permitted to load. Just no interstate, no vehicle, even at night. You can come here anytime.
In order to ensure strict compliance, the Federal Road Safety Corps has deployed personnel across the country who are to impose penalties on defaulters. The Corps is also urging commanding officers to collaborate with COVID-19 task force teams and security agencies across the country to ensure maximum compliance with established laws, especially on physical distancing, compulsory use of face masks, and restrictions of movement across the states.
We need to still let the passengers know that they have to be active. You have every right to stop that driver before he kills you. And for drivers, we must not place the emphasis on profit above our lives here.
The Corps has commissioned a special patrol team with the mandate of achieving a decline in transmission of the virus amongst commuters, as well as mitigate the attendance risk of road traffic crashes. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
The United States has instructed the World Health Organization to immediately begin work on coronavirus inquiry. This is just as more than 5.2 million cases of COVID-19 have been reported worldwide, including over 336,000 deaths, according to Johns Hopkins University. And now here's a highlight of global update on the pandemic from Justin Bem Onyi.
Nigeria has recorded 7,016 confirmed cases of coronavirus, with 1,907 discharged and 211 deaths. In the last 24 hours, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) announced 339 new cases with 11 deaths. The 339 new cases are reported from 18 states, and the center says no new state reported a case within the period. And taking a look at a live tracker on coronavirus in Africa, more than 100,000 confirmed cases have been recorded, with just more than 39,400 recoveries and more than 3,000 deaths. In the meantime, 10 ministers in South Sudan are now confirmed to have contracted coronavirus. Reports have it that Information Minister Michael McQuay revealed that all former members of the high-level task force on coronavirus, apart from the health minister, have tested positive for COVID-19. Relatively, on a global scale, more than 5.2 million cases of COVID-19 have been reported worldwide, including over 336,000 deaths, according to Johns Hopkins University. The U.S. makes up more than 1.6 million of those cases. There is a spike in Latin America as the region reported more new cases than the US or Europe for 3 days in a row, driven by high numbers in Brazil, Peru, and Mexico. And from the Asian region, India, the country of 1.3 billion people, reported a total of over 118,000 confirmed cases on Friday. Following latest developments, the United States is calling on the World Health Organization to immediately begin work on an investigation into the source of the coronavirus outbreak and subsequent timeline of events.
The United Kingdom is investing 20 million in the African Union's anti-COVID-19 fund. Chairman of the African Union and President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, while announcing the package, said it makes the United Kingdom the largest national donor to the fund. The Africa Anti-COVID-19 Fund is to help tackle the pandemic by recruiting African health experts and deploy them to where they are needed most, strengthening tracking, combating harmful misinformation, providing specialist coronavirus training for health workers, and enlightening the public. The United Kingdom support comes after it had already pledged more than $900 million to the international fight against COVID-19. More on COVID-19 as well as other reports when we return after our first break. Do stay.
Mama, Uncle Kim just called me. His wife just gave birth. Hey! If we not be God, though, now who go do am? Now who go do am? I thank God. Boy or girl? I was too excited to ask. Let me get my phone and call him. Mama, it's a... Mama, what's wrong?
So, I no fit see my grandpikin now as dem do obodo oyibo.
Mama, I have a surprise that will cheer you up.
Introducing Sunday Data Plan. Enjoy Sunday browsing. 200 Naira gets you a whopping 1.25 gigabytes. Glow Unlimited.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Guy, what happened? This COVID-19 is not easy on my business, so my client just put the project on hold. Imagine that one of last week. They cancelled it. And I am scheduled to call my tax officer next week. What do I tell him?
Relax. FIRS has it sorted already. That's why they issued palliative measures to cushion the effects of COVID-19 on taxpayers. Remittance of VAT, which used to be on or before 21st of every month, has now been extended to the last day of the month. FIRS also states that it's imperative that companies whose revenues are in foreign currency and personal income, tax returns for foreign affairs, non-residents, military and police, immediately check their website for important updates as well as information on late returns penalty. All supporting documents can be submitted later to the tax office for all those who cannot access email facilities. The There are lots more. From now till further notice, FIRS says all taxpayers can now take advantage of its simple, user-friendly and robust e-filing process to submit their documents online instead of visiting tax offices. Dedicated email addresses for each of the offices are available on their website www.firs.gov.ng. Stay safe and comply with all the guidelines issued by the government so that together we can make Nigeria working again.
This broadcast is powered by FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Hey, Yusundo, New Africa together as one. The biggest concert in Africa, virtual concert. Join us in Porto.
On behalf of my families, as well as the entire great people of Uboland in Ilaje local government area of Ondo State, wish to felicitate with Professor Agbola Ibrahim Gambari, CFR, on your appointment as Chief of Staff to the President. This appointment is indeed a justification of the fact that you are indeed a true Nigerian, and I am sure your excellent past records at both national and international levels will make you excel in your new office. We will therefore continue to pray God for you to guide Mr. President and the entire cabinet to lead Nigeria to the promised land. Signed, His Imperial Majesty, Oba Dr. Frederick Enitiolorunda Obatero Akinruntan, CON, Okorajiga 1, Olugbo of Ugoland and Chairman, Ondo State Council of Obas.
Honorable Minister of Education Malam Adamu has directed that consequent to the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari for the funding of 6 medical simulation, research and training facilities in colleges of medicine, 1 per geopolitical zone in the country, through TED Fund, the facilities should include provision of molecular science laboratories with capacity for testing and diagnostics of COVID-19, Lassa fever, and related viral diseases. The Honorable Minister emphasized that besides ongoing research work in response to COVID-19 and similar diseases through the TED Fund National Research Fund, the research community of the Federal Ministry of Education should undertake any other sundry contributions in support of the commendable efforts of the Presidential Task Force, PTF, in responding to the threat of COVID-19 in Nigeria. He commended the initiatives of TED Fund in providing a special research grant window towards treatment or vaccine against COVID-19. Additionally, he assured the fund that the federal government will continue to support relevant research aimed at addressing national challenges and needs. Signed, Mrs. Ngoba Priye-Briggs, Director, Public Affairs for the Executive Secretary.
On the occasion of the 64th anniversary of the Nigerian Navy, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral I.E. Ibas, on behalf of officers, ratings and civilian staff of the service, wishes to assure the nation of the commitment of the Nigerian Navy to securing our sea lines of communication, especially in these trying times. In line with the exigencies of the current COVID-19 pandemic, the anniversary will be limited to a press briefing at the Naval Headquarters on the 22nd of May 2020, while from 28th to 29 May 2020, Nigerian Navy commands will be marking the anniversary with the distribution of palliatives and PPE items. The anniversary climaxes the 1st of June 2020 with the commissioning of COVID-19 Isolation Center and ceremonial sunset. While we commiserate with Nigerians who have lost their loved ones in this current COVID-19 pandemic, we urge our compatriots to continue to adhere to COVID-19 safety measures. Nigerian Navy, onward together.
Thanks for rejoining us. Now, in continuation of the enforcement of interstate travel restriction, the Kaduna State Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai at about sunset this Friday joined security operatives at Kaduna-Kano state boundary to apprehend violators of interstate travel ban. Mohammed Umar Anjigi reports that the governor, accompanied by some of the state top government functionaries emphasized the need for interstate collaboration to contain cross-border and community transmission of COVID-19. Governor El-Rufai says, having personally suffered the pains of coronavirus, he does not want any citizen of Kaduna State to experience same.
To listen to the advice of health officials, to the advice of our religious and traditional leaders for them to stay at home. It's the only way you can be safe, because this disease spreads easily. I'll be here tomorrow, I'll be here on Sunday to ensure that those that don't obey the law go back to where they came from.
The governor directed that the travel ban violators be immediately tried by the mobile court along the highway. Scientists at the University of Agriculture, Makurdi, have invented an ultra-modern ventilator for use in fighting the coronavirus pandemic. Governor Samuel Ortom took delivery of the equipment, which was funded by the Benue State government.
State Chairman of COVID-19 Action Committee and Deputy Governor Benson Abonu, who briefed Governor Samuel Ortom on the source of the ventilator, explained that it is in a bid to effectively fight the pandemic that informed the commissioning of the scientists from University of Agriculture to invent it based on their disposition.
The need for ventilators became very paramount throughout the world. So, Your Excellency, when the chairman made mention of the fact that the scientists in the University of Agriculture could produce the ventilator, I was excited, and without reporting to you, for believing that you will always accept what is right, I gave them the go-ahead.
The governor, who appreciated the sacrifice of the institution, noted that much burden of spending to procure ventilators, which costs over 50 million naira each, will be off the shoulder of the state government if the machine is approved by the relevant bodies for use. Team leader of the scientists revealed that there are a number of components of the ventilator which are entirely different from others. He maintained that it can be used to treat any kind of patients in Makurdi. Charles Abba, NTA.
To cushion the effect of the lockdown, Gombe State government has commenced the distribution of food materials to households across the 11 local government areas of the state to cushion the impact of the restriction put in place to prevent the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. Correspondent Emmanuel Akila reports that the distribution is flagged off in Bo, Shogam local government area.
The palliatives include rice, spaghetti, maize, sugar, cooking oil and other foodstuff, which would be required by the people as they obey the restriction orders of staying at home due to the ban on movement and the closure of some businesses. To effectively reach the vulnerable and the poor, the state government inaugurated a committee chaired by the Emir of Gombe, Alhaji Abubakar Shehu Abubakar III. Gombe State Governor, represented by his deputy, urged the people to be patient and be their brother's keeper while the battle against the COVID-19 pandemic is intensified.
It's a pandemic that has crippled economic activities virtually everywhere. And being a concerned government, we thought it is only right and proper to come to the aid of people, having dislodged them from their economic activities that they were used to.
The beneficiaries appreciate the gesture, praying for an end to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Ya bani abin da shi ma da marayu da nake da su. Na gode mishi.
Na gode. Dama muna cikin wahala ya ju mu sami sauki. Mun gode Allah.
The Palliatives Committee has come up with a plan to reach out to 30 households in each of the 2,218 polling units in the 11 local government areas of the state. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has flagged off the distribution of medical supplies, relief materials and public enlightenment campaign to contain the coronavirus disease. Joy Uzo reports.
This event is a flag off by the committee inaugurated to spearhead the distribution of palliatives to states in the region. In attendance are stakeholders from the 9 states, which the Commission believes will see to the equitable and transparent distribution of medical supplies, relief materials and other palliatives to cushion the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. The NDDC Acting Managing Director, Professor Keme Bradikumopon-Dewu, noted that the supplies are to augment the initial over 1 billion naira support fund to the 9 states.
I want to thank President Muhammadu Buhari for graciously acceding to our request through the Honorable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and a package for the palliative was approved. The bulk of this package is actually medicals, equipment that will be sent to BIFO, the challenges of this coronavirus thing.
My co-committee members here, and of course the IMC, the Commissioner of Police, they have been giving us the support to see how everything will go peacefully.
Traditional rulers and youth leaders described the intervention as laudable and historic.
They have done so much for the Niger Delta. Though there are some who are still suffering now, just from the river area. The projects are not completed, but I'm sure that this new region will do it.
We must all agree that from this day forward, for NDDC to be so reliable, so dependable, NDDC must no longer be allowed to be a political breeding ground.
The items for distribution, which include medical supplies and variety of edibles, are currently en route to benefiting states with the flag off. In Port Harcourt, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
To other matters now. As part of its support in the fight against coronavirus pandemic, Rekit Benkinsa Group PLC, in collaboration with the United Nations Programme on HIV and AIDS, UNAIDS, is reaching out to about 220,000 persons living with HIV across 22 countries in Africa. The palliatives worth 800 million naira comes with a hygiene pack that contains 3 monthly supply of Dettol bar soap and jig bleach. Doindia reports.
Experts have identified people with underlying health factors as vulnerable in the management of the coronavirus infection. HIV/AIDS is one of such health conditions, with hundreds of thousands of such people living around the world, including Nigeria. These concern, however, informed its initiative tagged Fight for Access Fund, an intervention program which aims at improving health, hygiene and nutrition for such people. To achieve these, 180 bars of Dettol soap are made available to them through the United Nations Programme on HIV/AIDS, UNAIDS. The donation also includes 60 units of jig bleach bottles to ensure world-class disinfection of surfaces in societies with the most vulnerable. UNAIDS, through its Nigeria's country director, Erasmus Mora, commends Rekit Benkinsa's PLC for a timely donation and delivery of the hygiene kits, which will help to improve the personal hygiene of people living with HIV/AIDS in Nigeria and across the African continent. In Abuja, doing Dia NT News.
Anti-piracy operations, acquisition of new vessels and recruitment are just a few of the many successes recorded by the Nigerian Navy in its 64 years. Correspondent Naja'atu Tijani has details of activities marking its anniversary.
Recognizing the need to re-strategize in the wake of the novel coronavirus pandemic, the Nigerian Navy says it will be marking activities on a low-key while also reviewing its safety protocols and other policies and plans in order to accommodate what's happening globally. Presenting its scorecard to the media in Abuja, the Chief of Naval Staff, in a message delivered by the Chief of Policy and Plans, outlined anti-crude oil theft operations as part of the many successes recorded by the Nigerian Navy in its 64 years.
The Nigerian Navy equally committed enormous resources to equipment availability to support its operations. Accordingly, the Nigerian Navy took delivery of a total of 168 outboard engines with requisite spares. As part of the Ministry of Defense Critical Intervention, the Nigerian Navy just took delivery of one Leonardo AW139 helicopter, and this is currently being inducted into the service.
as well as the recruitment of more than 1,000 ratings, with another estimated 1,000 on standby, whose training at the school in One was delayed due to the lockdown caused by the coronavirus pandemic. It will also be distributing palliatives to the needy, as well as donating personal protective equipment to frontline workers in this COVID-19 era. Najaa Tutijani, NTA News.
The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, has charged troops of the Nigerian Air Force to exhibit high sense of professionalism and discipline in discharging their duties. Abdul Malik Hassan reports that the Chief of the Air Staff made the call while addressing the Air Force Special Force deployed to Interstate to combat banditry activities in the state.
Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar has deployed special troops to Katsina State to complement the existing air component officers and the Operation Hadarin Daji to bring to an end the issue of banditry that is facing the frontline local government areas of the state. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, who was represented by Air Officer Commanding Special Operations Command, Air Vice Marshal Charles Owo, said the deployed Air Force Special Force has acquired the special training and is combat ready to face banditry activities bedeviling some frontline local government areas of the state head-on. The banditry activities have led to the loss of many lives and rendered many people homeless.
It is the stage where we are now for the special forces to be injected into the fight against banditry. And that's why the Chief of Air Staff mandated 60 special forces personnel, 3 officers and 57 men, well trained.
He said the force is saddled with the responsibility of protecting lives and property of the people, hence reassured its commitment to bringing to an end the banditry activities in the state. He further urged the special force to exhibit high sense of discipline and conduct its operation professionally in order to achieve the desired objectives. In Katsina, Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
It's that time now to join Ingino in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Ingino.
Hello, Jimway. As community transmission of COVID-19 spikes in Nigeria, there is an improvement in the willingness of residents in Lagos State to comply with the directive of government to use face masks in public places to protect themselves and others from the virus. Nosa Osula, who sampled the views of the people, reports that the use of the mask has stepped out of being a government directive to a way of life and a lifeline.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and other international health organizations have explained that while social distancing and good hand hygiene are the most important methods to prevent virus transmission, new guidelines state that healthy individuals should wear masks in public settings, particularly when physical distancing is difficult. Residents are of the opinion that nobody should wait to be forced to wear a face mask, especially now that community transmission of the disease is rife.
I have to cover my nose, as you can see what I'm wearing, so that I will protect myself entirely from the coronavirus.
It's a quick to make face mask, and I had the piece at home. And since I can sew, I just quickly made this.
This one is not something that's just like ordinary that you can throw around another. So this one is well packaged, and I've been using it for some time, even before the coronavirus.
The one I'm using is old. I want to go and buy another one here.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu had made the wearing of masks mandatory in a bid to halt the spread of COVID-19 in the state.
Anytime you're in a public place, please ensure that you're wearing a face mask. It is not only to protect yourself, it's also to protect you from others.
According to the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, primary benefits of wearing a mask include limiting the spread of the virus from someone who knows or does not know they have an infection to others.
There are no medical disadvantages. As long as your mask is not too thick and is stopping you from breathing, you should be okay.
The commissioner added that the use of face masks in public places is non-negotiable to limit the spread of the virus until the scourge blows over. In Lagos, Nosa Osula.
From the poorest child who now has access to nutritional meals to parents and vendors, the Homegrown school feeding program is changing lives. Now, with the coronavirus pandemic posing greater challenges to livelihood, one can imagine the excitement of parents with pupils in primary schools in Lagos. Michael Olale reports.
This new approach to the National Homegrown School Feeding Program is targeting households with children in public primary schools. It is an innovation caused by the coronavirus pandemic, but the benefits and excitement it is giving to households have overshadowed the uncertainty induced by the virus. Yinka is one of the living casualties of COVID-19. She lost her job during the pandemic, and at a time survival seems dimmer, the federal government came with a rescue package.
Because to it don't add for me. I beg government, you do well, to do well for all of us.
42-year-old Salami Gambo, a mother of 4, knows the meaning of poverty. 3 square meals per day is by chance, but the next 4 weeks is likely to be best courtesy of the Palliative.
This thing will help me well for my house. I have children. I no work for me, so I can manage the one way I see.
The gains derivable from this program is not limited to the parents and their children, but vendors like Happiness is gainfully employed and contributing a quota to educational growth.
There are some children then decided not to write. Even when the teacher is teaching, they don't want to learn. But because they see that Olenje have come, you will see then they begin to pick up. If some parents will say the truth, they will say they have improvement in their children's life.
The Lagos State government said the program has increased enrollment, hence its sustenance.
That is going to be given to them on a monthly basis, and we hope and pray that the school will resume very soon, and if school resume, we will do the normal, school feeding program we have been doing before.
At this particular center at Koshofe, more than 114 households have benefited, with 37,000 households expected to be covered during the partial lockdown. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
That's it from here. We now take a break. The news continues shortly.
So who's making my husband smile?
I was just thinking about all my investments and how much impact they're making.
Investments?
Do you know I played a part in financing the Oyo-Ogbomosho Expressway? Even Onisha-Enugu Expressway and that Kano-Maiduguri Expressway. My investments contributed to the completion of those constructions.
Thank you.
Before you thank me, thank FCT and Kano.
What's that?
A low-risk investment which yields us regular and attractive returns.
Let your money do good and earn you good returns. Participate in the federal government of Nigeria Sukuk, offered by the Debt Management Office, which is now on and open to everyone. For more information, visit the financial advisors, Lotus Financial Services Limited and FBN Quest Merchant Bank. FG and Sukuk, investment for you and your country.
Your brain like this, if you load unlimited data, you go limited immediately.
She's going through a lot right now. Well, that lot that she's going through, she will continue going through that lot test.
After all this time, the tailoring school.
Oh, what's it, Jonah?
How much will you like me to pay you monthly?
The place that you are working, how much are they paying you there?
It's like you don't need this job.
I need it well.
We understand that it's not just about buying a dress. Being able to pay your bills.
The TV is just showing cartoons.
But I just paid for it.
Promise.
I promise.
Making that quick stop at the shop. Or sending some money home for the holidays.
We just received the money right now.
You're welcome, Mom. I told you I would send it.
It's about the 90,000 businesses across 13 countries in Africa who trust us to keep their promises. It's knowing that anywhere, anytime, anyway, you can always pay. Flutterwave, simplifying payments for endless possibilities.
Awesome screen, awesome camera, long-lasting battery life. Awesome screen, awesome camera, long-lasting battery life.
Awesome screen, awesome camera, long-lasting battery life. Awesome screen, awesome camera,
long-lasting battery life.
awesome screen, awesome camera, long-lasting battery life. Awesome screen, awesome camera,
Long-lasting battery life.
What we are really cultivating here is a better future for all Nigerian women, and it's not always easy. Panadol Extra relieves headache, backache, joint pain, toothache, and menstrual pain. The pain is worth it.
Make no mistake, we're in a fight to protect everything that matters to us. It's a fight to build sandcastles again, to grab lost time, to celebrate the big days, the everyday, to feel with the world again. It's a fight to run, to soar and find our wings once more. It's a fight to win back our world. So let's fight it together, the way we have for generations. Let's practice healthy habits. Let's protect our hands, our floors, our homes. Let's protect what we love and who we love. Because if we do, this is a fight that together we will win. Dettol, protect what's worth fighting for.
You're welcome back. From 1st of June, the political gates in Edo and Ondo State will open for the contest of the #1 seat in the state. In the face of the COVID-19, what are some of the plans INEC is putting in place to successfully conduct the elections? Let's hear from Mayor Ogidi.
In politics and elections, there is no break. Having break means invitation for constitutional crisis. And since the constitution is blind to coronavirus, the tenure of the governor of Edo State ends on the 11th of November 2020, while Ondo State ends on the 23rd of February 2021. So, the elections must go on. But this is a moment of history that is unique. So, the guidelines have to be adjusted. The timetables are out for Edo and Ondo already, and there are no alterations even in the face of the striking COVID-19.
The Commission has fixed Saturday, 19th September 2020, as the date for the governorship election in Edo State, and Saturday, 10th October 2020 for Ondo State.
In Edo, for instance, notice of election is on the 1st of June. Collection of forms is 2nd. Conduct of party primaries is from 2nd to 27th of June. Campaigns start from the 21st of June. Submission of candidates June 29, while Ondo will start its notice of election on the 1st of July. Collection of forms on the 2nd, party primaries 2nd to 25th of July. Campaigns start from the 13th of July. Submission of candidates is 28th, while the election day is 10th of October.
The violence during party primaries and electioneering campaigns are acts punishable under our electoral laws.
INEC is thinking deep and fast to conduct the elections in line with the compulsory new traditions set by COVID-19. So, a policy document covering health, legal, elections, planning and operations will be out on Monday, 25th of May, 2020, while series of meetings from the 30th to June 3rd with stakeholders to acquaint them with the policy document. Besides the 2 governorship elections, 9 by-elections in 7 states will also be seeking INEC's attention. Though no date yet for those elections, but because of constitutional exigencies, they may come up before the election day of Edo and Ondo governorship polls. However, following the due registration of some political parties on the 6th of February 2020, only 18 political parties will participate in those elections. Mie Okidi, NT News.
Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Action. Make your home the place to be with GoTV's super cool kids channels.
That sounds fun.
From funky friends that'll keep even the little ones busy.
All right, everybody, let's do this!
To learn as you watch educational shows for curious young minds.
You can do some amazing things.
There's plenty for everyone. Tune in to our kids shows and get everything you need to keep the kids entertained and learning the fun way. GoTV. Live it, love it.
Nigerians, let us take responsibility. Stay healthy, stay safe, and curb the spread of the virus. Take responsibility. The coronavirus spreads from one person to another. Let us avoid crowd gathering of any kind for any reason. Take responsibility. Avoid traveling from one state to another during these lockdown restrictions. Obey all the rules that are put in place. Take responsibility. Stop spreading fake news and unverified reports about the coronavirus. There is no known cure for COVID-19. Take responsibility. Observe all the measures that can help stop the spread of the virus. Together, we can do this, but only if we take responsibility.
Next is Sport Update with Tamara Ebue.
It's a brilliantly well, and there is the topic.
The return of football with the German Bundesliga got fans excited to an extent that they are now looking forward to this weekend for another thrilling moment. PSV Paderborn will host Hoffenheim at the Benteler Arena. On the 9th position of the table sits Hoffenheim, while Paderborn are at the rear. Hoffenheim made their debut in European competition in 2017, qualifying for the playoff round of the 2017-2018 UEFA Champions League, while PSV Paderborn is making their second return to top-flight football. Kevin John Ufoma Akpoguma, a German footballer of Nigerian descent, will be on the pitch if selected, while another Nigerian, Jamilu Collins, plays for PSV Paderborn.
Their last game they played when the German Bundesliga started, Hoffenheim actually lost that game in their home, but of course Paderborn drew away from home. So I'm looking for everything that both teams will bring in everything into this game, of course, to make sure they come out positive.
The match will be live on NTA Network at 2:30 p.m. with studio opening at 2 p.m. Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
And on a sad note, President Muhammadu Buhari was commiserated with Senator Kabiru Ibrahim Gaya over the death of his wife, Hajia Halima Gaya. In a condolence message, President Buhari described late Hajia Halima as a remarkable woman who dedicated herself to promoting education. The president commended her investment in establishment of private schools, adding that it is a laudable initiative which should be emulated by all. Education, the president described as a tool for modern development, and no country can afford to ignore its vital role in our lives. The president says his heart goes out to Senator Gaya and the people of Kano State and prayed Allah to grant them the fortitude to bear this great loss. Meanwhile, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan has expressed his condolence to Senator Kabiru Gaya over the death of his wife, Hajia Halima Gaya. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Ola Awoni Lawan commiserated with the people and government of Kano State over the tragic loss of a pillar behind their former governor. He prays that Almighty Allah console the entire family and give them the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. And that's Network News tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Juma Yusuf. Please do stay safe.